boys and girls. Welcome to video lesson 10-6, our lesson on circles and their special angles that go with them. We will be dealing with three types of angles. Let's start with type 1. These are angles found inside the circle. In other words, the vertex of the angle is inside the circle. The first one you already know about. It is a central angle. You know that the measure of a central angle is equal to the measure of its arc. In other words, measure of angle ABC, this angle is equal to the measure of this arc. We know that if the measure of angle ABC is equal to 40, then measure of arc AC is 40. And if measure of arc AC is 30, then the subsequent central angle is also 30. Let's talk about another type of angle inside the circle, whose vertex is inside the circle. That is the chord, or if you prefer, chord. Well, we'll say chord. Chord angles are equal to the average of the measures of the arc. In other words, if this right here, this measure right here is, let's call this angle arc X. We'll call this arc right here arc Y. The measure of the chord angle is the average of those arcs. So in other words, our formula here is going to be X plus Y divided by 2. So if this arc is 40, this arc is 120, those add up to 160. Therefore, this angle, both of these angles, because they're vert angles, those angles have a measure of 80. Notice that right here, this arc is 80, this arc is 20. That adds up to 100. Half of 100 is 50. Okay? We notice that this arc right here, let me switch colors here for you. This arc right here is 120. This arc is 70. 120 plus 70 is 190. Half of 190 is 95. Let's make sure we can see that. 95 degrees. So, the chord angle is equal to half the sum of the arcs. So the measure of both angles A and B and DMC, both of these angles are equal to the average of the arcs. So the measure of arc AB is 30 and measure of arc DC is 40. The measure of the angle is going to be 30 plus 40 divided by 2, which is 35 degrees. Why don't you guys try these right now? Solve for X. Okay, if we're looking at these two problems right now, I'm going to call this angle right here, I can call this angle right here Y, because that's actually not what we're solving for, but that's the chord angle. I know that angle Y is equal to the sum of the arcs, so 96 plus 46, all divided by 2. Just doing some math now. 96 plus 46 is 142. Divide that by 2 to get Y is equal to 71, and now we notice that angle X is actually the supplement of the angle Y, because those two angles make up a straight line. So 180 minus 71, X must equal 109. And looking at the second one here, I know that this angle 70 is equal to the sum of the arcs divided by 2. So 100 plus X divided by 2 is equal to 70. I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 2. So I get 100 plus X is 140. So therefore, X is 40. Okay, let's try these next two. I got a chord angle of 76. It is equal to half the sum of its arcs. So therefore, 5x plus 2 plus 3x minus 2, all divided by 2, is equal to 76. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So on the right side, I get 152. And I'm going to add up here, 5x plus 3x is 8x, plus 2 minus 2 is nothing. 8x, I'm going to divide both sides by 8. X is equal to, don't tell me, I can figure this out. X is going to equal 19. Okay, and this guy right here, let's switch color, a little color magic here. I know that my angle is equal to the half the sum of its arcs, so 30 plus 42, all divided by 2, is equal to 2x minus 5. I'm going to add these guys up, so I get 72 is equal to, I'm going to actually multiply the right side by 2, so 4x minus 10, get rid of my fraction. Now I know that 4x is equal to 8 to 82, so therefore x is equal to 20.5. Voila. Okay, our second type of special angle inside circles or on circles is type 2, which is where the vertex is on the arc. And again, one of these types of angles you already know about because we've already used it. The first one is the inscribed angle. And you already know that the inscribed angle is always equal to half the measure of its arc. So if this is x, this is going to be twice as big, 2x. And we know that because we've already done that in previous lessons. So if the measure of angle XZY is 40, then the measure of the arc is going to be double that, which is 80. Or if the measure of the arc is 100, then the measure of the angle is half of that 100, which is 50. Okay? The second type of special angle, where its vertex is on the circle, is a little bit harder to see. It's called the tangent chord angle. The tangent chord angle is made up of a chord and a tangent. Once again, though, this angle right here is going to equal half of the arc. And I'm going to just put that arc right here in green. So the measure of the red angle is equal to half of the arc. All right? So we're looking right here. The measure of this angle, I'll do it in blue. The measure of this angle is going to equal half the measure of this arc in red. Okay? So if the measure of the arc, if the measure of the angle is 120, then the measure of the arc is twice as big as that, 240. And if the measure of the arc is 120, I know the measure of its angle is half of that, which is 60. All right, let's move on. Let's do these two. This arc right here, x, is going to be twice that angle, so it's 80. And let's look at this guy. If this arc is 240, that means that this arc right here is, yes, 120. We're going to subtract the 240 from 360. And notice now we have a chord tangent angle. Where again, let's just, look at this. This right here, this line right here is my tangent. Okay? This line right here in green is my chord. This angle, therefore, angle x is a chord tangent angle. It's half of its arc. The arc is 120, so the angle is 60. Whoa, type 3. Outside. There are 3 types of angles now. Now the vertex is outside the circle. Outside the circle. So, let's just review one quick word. Secant. A secant is a line that passes through the circle in 2 points. Remember, a tangent is a line that touches. This gives the circle a kiss because it only touches the angle at 1 point. Okay, so secants pass through the circle and they intersect the circle at 2 points. So, first type is an angle made up of 2 secants. A secant angle, we can see that this angle right here at E is a secant angle because both of these lines are secants. Okay? The second type is a secant tangent angle. Notice that we have a tangent right here in green, and we have a secant right here in red. That's a secant tangent angle. And the third type, let's switch colors here, get a different color too, a little orange, is a tangent tangent angle. So this line right here is a tangent. This line right here is also a tangent. So this angle is going to be a tangent tangent angle. All of these angles are going to equal. So the measure of the angle, sure, is equal to 1/2 the difference of the arcs this time. The difference of the arcs. Okay? So in type 1, when we were inside the circle, we were adding the arcs. When we were on the circle, we were just taking half of the arc. And in angles outside of the circle, these vertexes outside of the circle, we are taking 1/2 the difference, or we are subtracting the arcs. Okay, so looking right here, the secant angle is again equal to half the difference of the arcs. So measure of angle C, this guy right here, is equal to half the difference of this arc with this arc. So if one arc is 100 and the second arc is 40, the measure of the angle is going to equal 100 minus 40, all divided by 2, which is 30. 60 divided by 2. The secant tangent, again, the angle is equal to half the difference of the arcs. Okay? So if we have, and again, notice this is a secant tangent. We have a secant. We have a tangent. Okay? This angle is going to be half the difference of these two arcs. So if the first arc is 120, the second arc is 30, okay, the measure of the angle is going to be 120 minus 30, all divided by 2, which is 90, divided by 2 is 45. And lastly, we got the tangent angle. This angle at y is a tangent angle, because that's a tangent, and so is this guy. That angle is equal to half the difference of the arcs. That angle, or that arc, and I gotta get a different color. We'll do it in yellow. This arc right here, the difference of those arcs. So if one of them is, let's see, measure of this guy is 100. That's what we have here. Means this guy must be 260 because both of those arcs add up to 360. So now we have 260 minus 100, all divided by 2. 260 minus 100 is 160. Divided by 2, 80. One more thing you need to know, and this is just a little bit of math, but it's a little shortcut. The sum of the measures of a tangent angle and its minor arc is always 180. So in other words, this angle plus this arc will always equal 180. So 122 plus P is equal to 180. The measure of that angle must be, let's see, 180 minus 122, 58. So this angle is 58 degrees. Okay, let's try a couple. In fact, we're going to make it a game. This game is called Solve for X. I like that game. First of all, what type of angle do we got here? Angle X is going to be a, yes, you got it, a secant tangent angle. I know that the measure of angle X, so X is equal to half the difference. So half the difference of the arc. So 178 minus 102, all divided by 2. 178 minus 102 is 76. 76 divided by 2 is equal to 36. So X is 36. In this guy right here, we're looking for X. X is an arc. I know that this angle and again, this is a secant angle, right? It's a secant. Those are both secants. I know that the measure of the angle 668 is equal to the difference of the arcs, all divided by 2. Now, whenever I have these, I'm going to make my life easier and get rid of my fraction, multiply both sides of the equation by 2. 68 times 2 is, don't tell me, 136 is equal to 158 minus x. I am going to subtract 158 from both sides. And I get negative x is equal to neg 22. So therefore, divide both sides by neg 1. X is 22. What type of angle do we have here? This is a tangent angle. This is a tangent. This is a tangent. I know from my shortcut that this arc plus this angle add up to 180. So x plus 75 is equal to 180. Therefore, subtract 75. Probably didn't need to write this out. X is 105 degrees. In this guy right here, this is a secant. This is a tangent. Okay? So I now know that the measure of, or the x, my angle, is equal to half the difference of the arcs. Well, we got to do a little bit of extra work here now. I got one arc, which is 45. I need to get this other arc right here. I don't know that yet, but I do know that this arc right here, is 140. Well, I know that all of those arcs add up to 360 because that's the whole circle. So 140 plus 45 is 185. That means that this guy must be 175 if I did my math correctly. 175. So now x is going to equal 175 minus 45, all divided by 2. 175 minus 45 is 130. 130 divided by 2, x is 65. Okay, let's try this guy right here. We got to find measure of angle P, which is right here. That looks like a tangent angle. And we got to find measure of angle PQR, which is this angle right here, which actually looks like a tangent chord angle. It's a type 2. So, let's figure out what we know. RQR is equal to 100. So this is 100 right here. I know from my shortcut that measure of angle P plus the measure of the minor arc is 180. So therefore, measure of angle P is equal to 80. I also know now that the measure of the chord tangent angle, it's type 2, its vertex is on the circle. Its measure is half the measure of its intercepted arc, which is 100. So the measure of angle PQR is half of 100, which equals 50. We also could have found that doing a little bit of old-fashioned geometry. We know that that angle is 80. We also know that these two tangents must be equal from the two tangent theorem, which means now if that's an isosceles triangle, these two angles are equal. Well, both of those angles plus this third angle, 80, add up to 180, because that's the measures of a triangle. So once again, we see that 2x is equal to 100 and x is 50, just to double check our work. One last problem. What type of angle do we have here? Very good. It is a secant. Secant angle. The measure of the angle is equal to half the difference of the intercepted arcs. We're just going to do some algebra now. So I know that x minus 12 is equal to x plus 38 minus 30, all divided by 2. Let's just do some algebra now. I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation. Well, that was 12. Sorry, not 2. 12. I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 2. So I have 2x minus 24 is equal to x. The 38 minus 30 is 8. So that's plus 8. Now I'm just going to do some algebra. Minus x plus 24 plus 24. And it looks like x is going to equal 32 degrees. All right.